Hi everyone, my name is Denette and I'm a junior graphic design major from Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, and I'm going to be your 2020 Southern Style Leader. And you may be sitting there thinking, what the heck is a Southern Style Leader? Well, I am here to guide and support you during your transition to USM. And today we're just going to be going through some of the top 10 tips that you can find in your first year guide that was sent to you in the mail. And if you haven't gotten it yet, don't worry, don't freak out. You can just follow along as I break down these tips for you. So on the first page, you're going to see a checklist that is called taking care of business. And basically, these are just some things that you want to consider doing before you come here in the fall. So these include getting your parking pass settled and maybe getting your student ID. So you just want to look through that list, and if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. All right, so I'm going to start breaking down some of these tips for y'all, and our first one is finish in 4. And what we mean when we say that is we want you to have that goal in your head of graduating. So obviously, we want you to enjoy your college experience and we want you to enjoy it to its fullest. But college is not always about fun and parties. It's about getting your degree and graduating in your major and graduating on time, most importantly. So stay on top of your degree plan and stay in constant contact with your advisors so you know if you're taking the correct classes and if you're taking the correct amount of hours. And our second tip is be present. So college can go by pretty fast, and if you don't stop and look up and pay attention, it can fly by. So class time is probably one of the most invaluable resources for you. Be present in class, be physically there, and be mentally checked in. Your professors will more likely be able to help you if you are physically and mentally there in their classes. Our next tip is find your people. So it is so important to make professional connections at college. Not only is it a great skill to have, but it's just important in your life in the long run. Sorry, my tongue got mixed up there. But it's so important to make these connections, and I know this personally because as a freshman, I didn't feel the need to make those connections with my professors. I didn't go to their office hours, I didn't talk to them after class, and I kind of suffered from that. When it came time to apply for scholarships, I didn't have those strong relationships to get those recommendation letters that were needed. And the rec letters that I got compared to the rec letters that those people that took that extra step got were completely different. So I basically learned the hard way so that y'all don't have to. Our fourth tip is to study. And I know this may seem to be totally self-explanatory, but studying is different for everyone and studying is different in college. So just make sure you're in class, make sure you're present, read your syllabus and mark down the dates for tests, assignments, exams, anything like that so you can stay on top of things. Study with your friends, make sure you have people to keep you accountable for your work. I think that's so important. I love going to Starbucks with my friends, getting a long table, and just sitting there all night. It is probably one of the best things, and I feel so much more productive when there are people there to tell me, hey, you got to get on top of this. So just find whatever works best for you and just stay on top of things. Our next tip is it's okay to not be okay. So I know, let's face it, college is just not always the fun thing that we tell you it is. Things like homesickness and assignments and anything like that can get us stressed out and overwhelmed. And I want you to know that it's okay to feel like this and that your feelings are valid and they are completely normal. If you start feeling like this, reach out to people. There are so many campus resources for you to go to, like student counseling services. Our next tip is to budget your bucks. This one is hard for me, and I'm still trying to learn how to do this. It can be super easy to want to spend all your money at dining options like Chick-fil-A and Starbucks every single day, but it's just not practical. I know that in my experience, in my freshman year, I spent all of my money and there were still 2 months left of school, and it was miserable. I was without my iced coffee during finals week, and honestly, I don't know how I'm here today. So just limit yourself and think of a budget for yourself on how many bonus bucks or how much money you can spend during the week. And also explore other dining options like the Fresh Food Company. All right, so our next tip is to plug in. And I feel like that this tip is especially super important since we're in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. You need to be constantly checking your university email, your SOAR, and your Canvas. This is the most efficient and most likely way that university officials or your professors will contact you, whether it be about class assignments or whether it be about university policies and changes. So just make sure to keep constantly checking that and be plugged in, or else you'll miss some really good information, some really important information. Our next tip is to get in where you fit in. The University of Southern Mississippi has over 200 student organizations. There are so many places for you to go. You just have to find out where your values and where your passions align with. There are so many clubs. It ranges from Student Government Association to Anime Club. So just find what you like, maybe take a risk and do something that you wouldn't normally do, and just get involved. Getting involved really helped me come out of my shell, and it helped me gain confidence to do things that I don't think I would normally do. Our next tip is to stay curious. I think that sometimes in college we can get a little bit bogged down by our major, so I would suggest taking some extracurricular activities. Do something like take an art class, a photography class, learn something different, and expand your horizons. And our last tip actually is take flight. And I want you to know that Southern Miss is not only going to be your school for the next 4 years, but it's going to be your home. You need to plant your roots here and find out where you belong. Get out of your comfort zone and take a risk and work to be the person that you always wanted to be. And that's all I have for you. So lastly, to the top.